Hey guys, Script Trooper here with another video, and fresh off of the announcement from Disney that the budget for The Acolyte was actually not 180 but $230 million for that show. It's just mind-boggling. But fresh off of that, now we're getting a report that the budget for Disney's live-action Snow White, starring Rachel Zegler, reportedly exploded to over $500 million. Now, I can venture to surmise as to why that would be, because they had to get rid of the, what do we call it, the politically correct DEI dwarves that weren't dwarves. In fact, at least one of them was like a 6'4" bearded, thin man. So then they had to go back after the backlash and after Rachel Zegler's opened her mouth and went after fans and went after the actual story itself, which is just incredible to me. So you're making a story called Snow White, and your lead actress in an interview trying to promote the movie is actually saying how awful the story is and how it's outdated and patriarchal. It's just, these people, you don't get any dumber than the people working at Disney, whether you're an executive or you're an actor. But they had to replace the dwarves, and instead of getting actual dwarves, like actual little people, which would have been pretty easy to do, and throw a little makeup on there, give one of them the big ears, the dopey ears, whatever. They decided to go CGI for some reason. So Peter Dinklage complained that they were making this movie and that it's a stereotype for them to be dwarves. Well, Peter, that you're a dwarf. Like that's what you are. Like what are you talking about? So then, because he said that he didn't like that, they decided not to put dwarves in. And then when they got the backlash over the weird random group of non-dwarves that they put in the movie, instead of hiring dwarves, they did CGI dwarves, I guess, so Peter would still be happy that 7 of his fellow dwarf actors didn't get work. Meanwhile, he's like the leading dwarf actor probably ever, in terms of the amount of money he's earned. Anyway, so I'm guessing that the $500 million had to do with probably millions upon millions of dollars they had to spend to reshoot and CGI these scenes. The budget for the Walt Disney Company's live-action Snow White film starring Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot is rumored to have exploded to over $500 million. That is so insane. Almost as insane as Gal Gadot being the witch that is jealous of Rachel Zegler's looks. No offense to Rachel Zegler. I mean, she's not ugly or anything, but the idea that Gal Gadot would be the wicked witch who's jealous of her is a little bit silly. So this movie has a lot going against it, and then to spend that much money is crazy. In a recent video upload, of which this author appeared, WDW Pro shared, I am told there have been 3 reshoots of this film, and that Disney is now still working to fix the thing. Now, if you don't know who WDW Pro is, this person has been pretty darn accurate over the course of time with his predictions and or rumors that he has shared. Been quite accurate. So I don't think he's just coming on there and just spouting off. I think he's got some pretty good source on that. He added and in particular, there are 2 areas that Disney is working to resolve before its release in March, which is just a few months away. Well, they got a little bit of time, but kind of reminds me of The Rise of Skywalker. They were doing reshoots, apparently right up until a month before it released, because they had no plan and no idea what they were doing. And don't forget, Daisy Ridley saying in an interview that she didn't know what her lineage was, what Rey's character's lineage was, until over halfway shooting the film. And then remember Kathleen Kennedy, Palpatine was always coming back. Yeah, sure he was. From there, WDW Pro shared 2 of the major problems that Disney is attempting to fix. First, he noted that the dwarves have been roundly mocked, and they have been mocked at the level of the original Sonic the Hedgehog model in that film. Is he talking about the CGI ones? Of course, Sega and Paramount went back to work and redid the entire model, redid the entire film to make the character look like it does in the video games. With this one, they're not going to have much time to do everything that needs to be done, and they have 7 models that need to be adjusted. So they're actually changing the CGI dwarves that they already changed from the non-dwarves. So they had the non-dwarves, changed them to CGI dwarves, and I guess they released a trailer with the CGI dwarves, so they're not happy. So they're going to be different from the trailer then now? This is just a total mess. Like, this is disorganization beyond comprehension. So the trailer we saw with the CGI dwarves now is not going to be... The dwarves are not going to look like that now? They're changing them again? Why didn't they just use actual dwarf actors? Like, from the very beginning. And then after the whole backlash about the DEI dwarf, non-dwarfs, they still went CGI. It's just costing them all this money, all this time. These people are dumb. I don't see any... Like, what's Peter Dinklage going to do? You think he's going to go out into the media and ruin your movie? Like, by saying that they shouldn't be dwarves? No one cares. That's what they are. It would have been so much easier. Just put in some real people, throw some makeup on them, give them big noses. What were they thinking? And the other thing is apparently they're going to try to adjust the color palette. The atmospherics of the movie to make it brighter and more lighthearted and make it more child-friendly, it was deemed a little too dark. Well, that's, again, fitting in line with a lot of the people making shows at Disney. I thought Andor was very dark until they get to the prison. The lighting's not very good in that show. In a lot of scenes, it's not very good. Ahsoka, I mean, is awful lighting. There's a lot of shows where the lighting is just absolutely terrible. The thing that's sad about that is, like, shadows and light is really important when you're taking a photo or taking a video. It's very important. It adds so much depth. And I mean, even just this screenshot here, I mean, there's no depth to it because there's no shadows, because there's no light. Even if you had a little bit of light coming from one direction, you'd have some shadows and you'd have a lot more depth. It just looks like crap. I mean, I don't know, it just looks crappy. It's like think of it this way. Do you want to just always have cloudy days? Just always? It's always gray out? Yay. That's how Disney's been shooting things a lot for quite a while now, quite a few years. WDW Pro then declared the big story about all of this is that Disney apparently is trying to get this movie ready to go on the cheap. On the cheap. $500 million doesn't sound cheap to me. And the reason that it might be done on the cheap is because they've already done 3 reshoots. That doesn't sound cheap to me. We know that this film had a budget that was somewhere around $300 million, which is nuts. Guys, these budgets have got to be garbage. Like, they've got to be doing... Like, there's no way. There's no way it's costing this much money. Who are they hiring? You're hiring people that can't get lighting right, and you're spending that much money? They have overshot that significantly, according to my source, and this film is now heading towards The Force Awakens and The Rise of Palpatine. That's what I'm going to call it, kind of budget. Yes, that's right. The Force Awakens, adjusted for inflation, is like $500 million. We're nearing the $500 million mark, according to the source. Like, look at the lighting. Look at how garbage that looks. That looks like crap. Literally. Like, look at it. Everything's just a gray, overcast sky with bland lighting. This rumor has some significant, validity to it, given Carolyn Reed at Forbes reported that Disney's production company in the United Kingdom working on Snow White had already spent $209.3 million over 3 years as of July 2022. How is that possible? How is it possible? It has been over 2 years since that report, and we know of at least one confirmed reshoot from Gal Gadot. She posted a photo of an actor's chair on her Instagram stories in June 2024, writing, "Feels good to be back." Just reshooting everything. This is such a disaster. Oh man, Disney is such a garbage company now. They have no idea what they're doing. No idea what they're doing. No plan, reshoots, stupid decisions, non-dwarfs, then CGI dwarfs, then redone CGI dwarfs. And again, you go back to The Force Awakens, and it went through a lot of reshoots, Rise of Skywalker. It's on and on and on with this company, the disorganization and the mess. Not only did the film undergo at least one confirmed reshoot, but as WDW Pro noted, the film appeared to radically change how it was going to depict the Seven Dwarfs. Based on set photos leaked by the Daily Mail, it appeared the company was completely doing away with them. 7 politically correct companions. That's the best way to put it. 7 politically correct companions. There they are. Yeah, there it is. Look at them. That's the guy I was talking about. He's like 6'3" with a beard. They got one dwarf in there. So what? Why was it okay to have one dwarf, Peter Dinklage? Why was it okay to have one, but not 7? Like, this is just the most ridiculously stupid thing I've ever seen in my life. And it's perfect that Disney does this. All because Peter Dinklage was going to be offended. Like, what is with these idiots? And then after they decided to do away with this, the politically correct companions, then they decided to go CGI, which is incredibly expensive, and now they're redoing that too because they look stupid. And I'm assuming they're going to change the ones from the trailer. Why? Why go through all of this? If you were really worried that Snow White was a politically incorrect story because your snowflake brain can't handle it, then why even do it? Why even do the live action? Just leave it. Like, I don't get it. If it's that concerning, then why would you try and make it and change a whole bunch of stuff? Like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, as far as, like, this is supposed to represent the dwarves. Like, that is the absolute most ridiculous thing ever. And it's funny, but it's also extremely sad. Yeah, like, if this is offending people right now, and their little snowflake brains, either make it and don't care about the people that get offended, because they're a very, very small minority, or just don't even make it at all. If you're going to make it stupid and wrong like this, then don't even make it. It's just, Disney is a dumb company. They're dumb. And now they've spent $500 million, and, like, this movie's going to bomb. After what Rachel Zegler said and stuff, it's over. It's going to bomb. They're going to lose money. No one's going to this. Like, look at these idiots. Look at this. I kind of don't mind this guy. But I mean, what is this? Look at these guys. What is this? What is this? Oh, there's Peter. I'm super rich, multi-millionaire actor, but no one who's a dwarf is allowed to be except for me. And again, like, who is he? Like if I'm a Disney executive, I'm like, oh, well, yeah, Peter Dinklage said it, so, I'm gonna have to go listen to Peter. An actor. Yeah. Like, who? I don't get it. And Dinklage's concerns were shared by some charities, including the Restricted Growth Association in the UK. Who cares? Stop caring about what every little tiny, no pun intended, group of people think and just do what you want. I very much stand with Dinklage on the disappointment and irritation towards Disney for the remake of Snow White, said Rhonda Cutmore. Who cares about what Rhonda Cutmore thinks? Who cares about what Peter Dinklage... It's funny that his last name's Dinklage, by the way, because he's a dink. As a 46-year-old woman with restricted growth, this story has always had a negative impact on me. Not just the physical characteristics, but the labeling of dopey and bashful were not helpful in the playground. Well, then don't watch it. Oh no, there's this one person out there that's going to watch it and they might not like it. Well, why would they watch it if they don't like it, first of all? And why do I care? Why do I care about this one person? People with restricted growth are in majority born to average height parents. They never live in gingerbread houses, have little bare beds, nor live in homogenous groups together. Is that why you're offended? Because you wish you were living with 6 other dwarves in a gingerbread house? Like, who cares? Dwarfism writer Steph Robson said she hoped film producers made an effort to avoid stereotypes. Oh, so it wasn't just the dink. It was a bunch of dinks. These people are idiots. It's a stupid movie. It's a stupid fable. Yeah, so it's better to do that. Just to have a bunch of randos. and now a bunch of CGI dwarves. So they're dwarves, they're just CGI. Oh, that's better then. However, following significant pushback, Disney released a photo depicting the dwarfs as CGI creations. So this is the dwarves that they're not gonna keep they're gonna be changed from this. So they redid them CGI. They still look like crap, and now they're gonna redo them again. This is the stupidest thing. This is about as dumb as it gets, guys. Like, this company is run by idiots. Lots of LOL. They should have just, I don't know, cast real short people to begin with. No, Bob Iger forced the staff. The film is still woke, just with unnecessary CGI dwarves. Because Once Upon a Time's approach was just too good for woke Disney. The 7 Dirty Portlanders is so undeniably on brand for Disney. So you let me know in the comment section what's better, the politically correct companions or the 7 Dirty Portlanders. This would only get funnier to look back at. Oh man, they're in big trouble. These guys are in big trouble. I don't know what to say. It's just ridiculous. Oh man. In fact, the film had received criticism from actor Peter Dinklage, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, it's really progressive to cast, literally no offense to anyone, but I was a little taken aback by they're very proud to cast a Latina actress as Snow White, but you're still telling the story of Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. So again, if you were that intimidated by the dink, then you should have just not made it. Like, if the dink is going to run your company, and you think he's got that much power that if he says that he's offended in an interview that no one's going to go to the movie, then why did you even make it? And yeah, casting a Latina he sees that as a positive. They're proud of casting a Latina as Snow White, but you're still telling the story of the 7 Dwarfs. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. She's called Snow White because she's the fairest of them all, and her skin is white as snow. It doesn't make... No, I'm sorry. No offense to the Latinas out there, but no, that doesn't make sense. And I go back to it, I've said before, like, why are white people not allowed to have anything? Everybody else is allowed to have their own stories, their own cultures, their own... But everything that we made in Europe and, by extension, the United States, Canada, is not allowed. It has to be replaced with a Latina. Because we're not allowed to have things. White people aren't allowed to have a history or their own culture. Right? We're not allowed. Everybody else is allowed. But we're not allowed. Take a step back and look what you're doing there. It makes no sense to me because you're progressive in one way, but you're still making that effing backward story of the 7 dwarves living in a cave. What are you doing, man? Boy, he's really offended by Snow White. I wonder if when he first saw it, he was like 6 or something, and he's just like, I'm offended! Dude, calm down. It's just a stupid kid's story. It's a fable. Like... And they live in a house. And they mine in a cave. So I don't know if you've just not seen it. And you're just getting outraged for the sake of getting outraged. Well, of course he is. That's the culture now. It's, what can I be offended by? Oh, I'm offended by that. Even though he's clearly never even watched it. Have I done nothing to advance the cause from my soapbox? I guess I'm not loud enough.
Oh, what a loser!
And they concluded, I don't know what studio that is, but they're so proud of that, and all love and respect to the actress and to the people who thought they were doing the right thing, but I'm just like, what are you doing? Who cares what you think, dude? If you tell the story of Snow White and Snow White and its most effed up, cool, progressive spin on it, let's do it. All in. But I just don't know. Are you mad because you weren't cast or something? Why do you care so much about this movie, Dink? Like, why is the Dink so obsessed with this movie and how it's made and what, like, why do you even care, bro? I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. And then there's that interview with that guy, that one dwarf guy on Pierce Morgan, where he's like, I would have happily been one of those dwarves. There's not a lot of roles in Hollywood for us. I need the work. So he was like, thanks a lot, Peter Dinklage, for making a big deal out of it, and now I don't have any more money. Meanwhile, Peter Dinklage is a multi-millionaire and been in tons of movies. So he doesn't care, right? It doesn't affect him. It just affects other dwarfs that could have been cast. This whole movie is a disaster. It's going to completely bomb. In response to the dink, a spokesman from Walt Disney told the Hollywood Reporter to avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film. We are taking a different approach with these 7 characters and have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community. Well, you clearly haven't been consulting with some of the actors that have been interviewed and saying that they would have gladly taken those roles. This is all fake. You didn't approach any of them. You didn't consult with any of them. You just Dink said Dink was a dink, and you went with what Dink said. That's it. You didn't consult anybody. These people are all full of it. It's a giant pile of crap. We look forward to sharing more as the film heads into production after a lengthy development period. The Hollywood Reporter also asserted the film has been in development for 3 years. The studio has been reimagining the dwarf character since the earliest stages. Now, hold on a second. That's another lie. This movie was supposed to come out this year. It was supposed to come out in March 2024. It was done. And then the Daily Wire was going to come out with their Snow White version with Brett Cooper. And then around the same time, like a month later or something like that. But anyways, there was a lot of backlash. And Rachel Zegler ran her mouth and attacked the story itself that she's in and playing a character in. Can you imagine how idiotic that is? And saying that it's not politically correct or whatever. This is literally the story that put Disney on the map. Like, you wouldn't have a job. Like, Disney wouldn't exist without this story. This is literally the #1 animated film of all time. Although I think the new one, the In-N-Out 2, might have beat it now, but whatever. This is what put Disney on the map, and you're criticizing the story and that you're in. And then they said, oh no, and then they decided to change everything and go with CGI dwarves. This is last year, and then announced that it was going to be coming out a year after it was originally supposed to come out. So this movie was done. And they had spent, earlier in the article it said something like $210 million in the UK, and the budget was something like $300 million total. So they spent $200 million in this last however many months trying to get it ready for the March release in 2025. So that's a load of crap. They changed it after it was already done. That is a level of insecurity that is beyond comprehension. And this is the Disney thing. They're so insecure and so scared of offending Dink or some other person, that little minority of people that just like to be loud and no one else really cares, that they are redoing it again. Like, why would you do that? It was done. For all intents and purposes, it was probably garbage, but it was done. Now it's going to just lose a ton of money. Anyways, I think this rumor's true. It has to be, because if they'd already spent $300 and it was done, and they had trailers and they had a date announced, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere they switched it to, oh no, it's going to be a year from now, and then they switched it to CGI dwarves. Yeah, that's what that's going to cost. You're reshooting all these scenes because now it's CGI and you don't have the politically correct buddy group or whatever they're called. Companions. What an absolute disaster. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Do you think this is just going to be total bomb? I think it's going to bomb. I think it's going to lose so much money. No one's going to go watch this piece of crap. It's going to be fun to watch it just burn. Let me know in the comment section what you think. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Always helps the channel. Feel free to check out everything else on my channel. Have yourselves a really good day.